Let's have a look at some of the menu options that we have. Under File, you have the opportunity to export as an Adobe PDF. Very simple. Allows you to choose a paper size. I've got tabloid here and an orientation. Click OK. It'll ask you to save the PDF somewhere. Mine will be just call it Smith. Click Save. And it's going to save it as a PDF. So here's my drawing. It's a PDF now. I can zoom in on it. You can see the quality is very good. I can send that to a client or to a print shop if I need to view or print whatever I need. So some of the other file options are you can export also email resolution image. So that basically what this means is that it'll reduce the file size to a small image. It won't be as clear as you'd want for, say, printing, but it'll be small enough that you could email to a client. Print resolution image basically turns it into a JPEG or a TIFF image, whatever you choose, and gives you an image file instead of a PDF, which also could be used for printing or possibly for using on a website or a brochure. Under the View menu, you can click on Options, and you can choose some swatch defaults. These are more advanced settings. You may not want to touch those unless you're familiar with what they do. Shadow default, this is basically the defaults that show up when you first open up the shadow tool. You can change the direction and the depth to whatever you choose so that you have the settings that you want right from the start, and then you can adjust them after that. Print basically determines the DPI of the output that you're printing as. It also determines the output of the save as PDF or image file, and it all depends on the hardware configuration of your machine. If you have a machine with a fast processor, lots of memory, and a really good video card, you can adjust the DPI up a little bit higher to get a better quality output if you need to. However, if you have an older machine or a slower machine, you may want to keep the DPI fairly low. A 200 DPI color output is going to be very good quality for what you need it for. Buffer size, basically what happens here is that because Dynascape Color uses up a fair bit of memory, that if it reaches a maximum point, instead of taking up all of your system's memory, it'll back up on the DPI in order to be able to continue printing or exporting as a PDF or JPEG or image file so that you don't have any problems with your computer. So it's basically a buffer that prevents you from overloading your computer's memory. Auto detect basically will look at your computer's configuration and set up the DPI and the buffer size to the best configuration for your computer. And the last thing we're going to look at under Tools is the Style Editor. The Style Editor is a tool that you can use to create your own custom swatches that you've created yourself. So basically how the Style Editor works is that you can open up an existing style, so you can open up the 3 different styles that already come with Dynascape Color by going to File, Open Style. All the styles for Dynascape Color are found under Local Disk C, Program Files, Dynascape Color, Styles, and then you've got your 3 different styles here, STY files. So I'm going to choose the marker hybrid style, click open, and it's basically going to load all of the marker hybrid swatches into my style editor, where I can change the order of swatches within a category. So I can move these around using these arrows here, so I can pick any swatch and move them around in the list like this. If I want that to be my first swatch, I can move it to the very front, and that becomes the first swatch when I open up Dynascape Color the next time. I can also remove swatches from the list here, so I can take a swatch and delete it from the category if I wish. I can also access these original files and change the colors of them and add them as new swatches as well, or I can create my own. So let's have a look at how that's done. All of the original images for each of these swatches are also found in the same spot as the styles. They're found in Local Disk C, Program Files, Dynascape Color, Styles. These are found in what's called the Textures folder. So there's contemporary, so there's a folder for each of the styles, marker hybrid. So basically here's all the swatches, the original images for each of the swatches that Dynascape Color is referencing to. So I could take any one of these images and open them up in another program. For example, I could right click and open with Microsoft Office Picture Manager. There's the swatch. I can edit these images using the color editing here, so I can change the amount of color in it. I can make it brighter, change the hue a little bit, change the saturation like this. So there's a new color. I could then save this, go File, Save As. I'll save it as, and I should probably put it in my documents, my pictures. I should put a new swatch here, give it a new name, call it Evergreen A new, so it's a new version of Evergreen A, whatever naming convention you want to use. Click Save. Now that becomes a new image that's usable. So I go back to my style editor, and I could add that to, say, my shrubs category. Click on New, click on Texture. Now I need to find that texture here, this button with a couple dots on it. It brings me to my Styles folder, but I save that image in my Documents, My Pictures, and there's my new swatch that I created. Click Open. There's my new swatch. I can give it a name, call it Evergreen A New, just so I can identify it. Click Update. Now that's a new swatch in my list here. If I go File, Save Style, go back to Dynascape Color, open it up, refresh my styles by opening up another style and then going back to that style. Marker Hybrid is where I put it. It will be in my Shrubs category, the very bottom of the list. There's the new swatch that I just created, so I can apply it to my drawing.